Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and today I'm going to show you another of the Lost Maps this time. The Lost Maps Optimal Fit Edition, we can't really see all the way to the edge, and there's a good reason for that, which I'll show you in just a second. The Optimal Fit Edition, which is as wide, or I guess as long, as the HeroQuest board is wide. That is to say, its shortest measurement is as long as the HeroQuest board's longest measurement. And what this ends up being is a very, very large map. Now, my own table is too small for this. It's only about 24 inches wide. So I'm going to have to show you this in a sort of rolling way, but I'm kind of looking forward to it because that's very different for what I usually do. So without further ado, the Lost Maps Jungle and Pyramid Edition. There's a surprise waiting for you at the very end of this map journey. So let's go. First of all, we have this awesome scale pyramid. This particular pyramid, and I know that this would work perfectly with the jungles of Delthrak monsters. They're safely boxed up, but rest assured, the spiders, the blight weavers, the cultists, they're all amazing looking on this map. The colors fit in perfectly and everything, but we're going to flood this area with a awesome witch lord and a bunch of undead. And this really could represent a number of scenarios. You need not use this pyramid as it is presented, but you absolutely can, and you can get a lot of variety and versatility out of it. It's pretty flexible. This is a pretty large pyramid. It offers you a lot of ground area to solve puzzles, avoid traps, and fight monsters with your fellow heroes. And there are a lot of stairs and a lot of mechanics you can take advantage of that are offered by stairs, one of which would be a rolling ball trap. So every other turn, or perhaps every turn, Zargon will place the antagonist who's at the top of the stairs on a particular tile, perhaps adjacent to the one he was on before, and roll down a boulder. And if any heroes are on that line, they'll simply get rolled away. Perhaps the movement to one square can take up one of the turns, and then the heroes will know that in the very next turn, he's either going to roll a boulder or move again, so they can prepare appropriately. And if the boulder hits a hero, well, maybe it's an automatic knockout and they fall all the way down to the bottom of the stairs, a la Dragon's Strike. Or is it Volcano Island, whichever one it is. Or perhaps they can roll defense dice to see if they just mitigate some of that movement and or damage. Another way you can use this is you can basically siege the pyramid with your heroes while fighting off the monsters that are emerging from the flora to either side, because this entire map is bordered by intense, thick jungle vegetation. And this can offer a separate faction of monsters, another danger in the area, if you will, other than Dread, or it can be home to the same Dread forces. You could have your heroes start off in the pyramid, defending it from Dread forces that are coming from this way, while you steadily fight your way down the steps and into the ruined village. This doesn't have to be a ruined village. It can be very much a thriving village environment attached to the same map. And by the way, yes, this map is 29 tiles wide. I haven't counted how many tiles long it is, but we'll get to that later. As we step foot into the village, we have all kinds of quest opportunities here with different rooms, lots of outside corridors and alleyways. And again, 3 squares to either side of the jungle area, meaning that monsters are able to infiltrate what is going on here. You can definitely use outdoor tiles to sit down and block off certain alleys or corridors. You can have boss monster battles happening in the main thoroughfare going straight through the town. Ash here with a word from this video sponsor. You're the sponsor. There's new benefits on the Patreon, and if you join the Mighty Hero tier now, you will gain access to a monthly quest designed by me exclusive to members of this tier and above. You'll have access to polls to be able to vote on upcoming content and have a special role for the Amalgam Archive Discord server. You'll be credited as a supporter at the end of every YouTube video I make, and finally gain access to heroic quests. That's a video game. All right, back to the video. Next up though, as we continue to journey, rolling our map off of the table and dragging it up the other side, we come to a moat that has a couple of bridges. One is very large, but also very busted up and broken. The ruins of a bridge and a very tiny bridge off to the side. The moat is not gridded. It is not given the tile standard. You can use this to your advantage by placing monsters in the moat who are able to emerge onto any tile that is adjacent to the moat graphic itself. So they're just able to climb up, and if a hero is standing on any of the adjacent edges, perhaps they could be attacked attacked by a monster or pulled in by a monster. They wouldn't allow a hero necessarily to be able to attack a monster if they are adjacent to the moat, but if they do have a ranged weapon, then I think that I would be able to give them line of sight. You could use modular tiles to repair the bridge and have your main forces siege the next section, a sort of temple. Or you could have your heroes see the obvious bridge off to the side. There's no hiding it. Your players will always see this bridge and think, I'll just go over there. And you could certainly put all kinds of traps here. Monsters popping out from underneath, goblins blowing it up from the other side, whatever you'd like to do. We continue on into what is sort of like a temple, I would say. I know the pyramid is a temple of sorts, but this seems a little more deliberate. This doesn't seem so much a tomb as it does something that is either ceremonious to visit or politically minded. There's all kinds of interpretations that you could have about this. When you're designing the quests, the interpretation is up to you. We continue on into what could be little courtyard areas. These areas are big enough to serve as puzzle-solving rooms. The heroes can still navigate traps and combat monsters before heading into the final area of this map, which is a fully fledged HeroQuest map. Amazingly enough, that is what we have waiting for us at the end of this Lost Maps journey. This is a surprise for sure, because as long as your quest is to get to this map, that's just to get to it. Now that we actually have this HeroQuest map, we can play a full-fledged HeroQuest quest on it. I will say this is a little bit differently scaled out. Most of the rooms are the exact same size as they are in the actual game, but you've probably noticed by now the center room is about 1 or 2 tiles off, and our north and south corridors are too skinny. Our reason for that is because we have 3 tiles to the left and right of the board that allow us to have more monsters coming in from the sides or greater areas of exploration for the heroes once they exit the side of the dungeon. This entire thing is outside as far as the corridors are concerned, and you could definitely have where these rooms are ruins, and so they may not even have ceilings. So the whole thing really could be considered outdoors, even if you have to enter through a door to get into a room. Now, again, my table is only 24, I think, inches long. And that actually affords me a great opportunity to show you something else you can do with any of Lost Maps maps that are the optimal fit editions, and that is this. You can actually take the ends of the map, wrap them around the table, and affix them to one another in some fashion that won't be damaging to the material, perhaps clips on either side, and then you have a rolling infinite dungeon that can go either way. You could go from the village to the pyramid and go from the pyramid into the HeroQuest map, implying that the HeroQuest dungeon is in the pyramid. You could even take this concept further by pulling the map closer together. Depending on how wide your table is, of course. Not everybody's going to be able to do this. Not all of you are blessed with skinny tables like me. See how I took that limitation and made it something to lord over people with? Yeah, you can do that too. But enough of this scrolling, and we're back to the pyramid section, onward to the village, and so on, over and over in an endless time loop that your heroes won't notice until they've been through it like 16 times, at which point they'll question your sanity as a quest builder and as a friend. And that is the optimal fit edition of the Pyramid and Jungle and Ruins HeroQuest map from LostMapsGames. I'll just put a link to the entire Etsy store down below. Again, this is the PVC material. It is a vinyl or a plastic that is really durable. It feels really great. It's not going to rip or tear or anything like that accidentally. It would be really hard to do it on purpose. And it might look a little glossy or shiny in spots, but that's because of the overhead angle of the camera. In reality, it's going to be a very matte finish when you're looking at it diagonally from the side. Not a lot of light bouncing off this at all, and I have everything lit up over here. I have more lights than you're probably going to have in your gaming area, to be honest. Very grippy surface, and that's about it. I have one more optimal map and one more Lost Maps to show you left. So I hope you'll look forward to that presentation. If you haven't subscribed by now, what are you waiting for? What do you want from me? And if you've been a longtime subscriber, please consider joining the Patreon. It directly helps the channel out. It monetizes little projects just like this one. Although LostMapsGames did send me this set of maps for free. So yet another huge thank you to LostMapsGames for this very kind and generous gift. Thank you very much. And you'll get some perks out of the deal as well, which I probably already ran the the Patreon ad in the video, so I don't know why I'm talking about it. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye, brave heroes.